Welcome back everyone to more Standard on Arena with me, Autumn, aka Rainy the Witch. Vivi Cauldron was one of the very best decks in Standard before rotation hit. Pretty phenomenal deck. And it almost all survived rotation, apart from one key card that we'll get into in a sec. But for those who aren't familiar, Vivi Cauldron is a deck all around really taking advantage of the silly interaction between Vivi Ornitier and Agatha's Soul Cauldron, where you can give any creatures you have that have +1 counters Vivi's ability. So you can potentially make 10, 15, 20 mana all in one turn off a single Soul Cauldron. If you have a large Mako or a large Tersa, maybe it's been grown off an Eidetic memory, you get to do some really silly things. Even as early as turn 3 or 4 or 5, you can be making tons and tons of mana, making an insurmountable board state. So a card that was lost was the Fling effect. A free mana creature that allowed you to turn all your creatures into flings once you'd make them large enough. However, we have this Draconautics Engineer people are playing now instead to try and replace that. It's a little bit worse because you can't necessarily fling all the creatures if they've been tapped to use Winternight Stories, or if you've had to go post-combat for Eidetic memory triggers to grow your creatures to make more mana. However, the flip side is that it does get to give your creatures haste. It is a nice, cheap, efficient card if you want to cast it normally. And when you're making tons of mana, you can also just use it to pump out some dragons as well by giving all your creatures that ability from the yard. So, really big fan of this deck. Excited to see how it plays now that we don't have Thrill Seeker, but we are playing Draconautics Engineer. Let's give Vivi Cauldron a spin for the first time since rotation. Makes sense that not much has, like, really changed there. Although they did lose Mastermind, which is pretty nice for this deck. Alright, well, sucks to mulligan to 5, but this is a pretty good 5. We have Splinter Twin, aka Mako plus FOMO. Alright, sad to discard the Scholar, but needs must. Wait, are we against cats? We might be against cats. Oh my god, someone call Vivi. Oh, right on cue. Hi, Vivi. Actual factual cats. Let's go. Oh my god, let's go. Oh, it comes in tapped. Oh my god, I'm so silly. I shouldn't have played the land out. I always forget how this stupid starting town works. I am starting town's like biggest hater. It tilts me so much. Anyway. Yeah, it is a bit weird, Gwen, I agree. Oh hum. Oh, I was probably meant to keep the Mako. Heck. 10 million mistakes here. Anyway. Kind of forcing them to have a sweeper at least. You do not think opponent has a sweeper? I'm inclined to agree. And yet also ready to be proven wrong. I kind of want to say go. Is that bad? Instead of jamming this Tersa? Just jam the Tersa next turn. It's not like I have a Thrill Seeker in my deck. Yeah. Board's already pretty imposing. God, if I'd not played the starting town, we would currently have a second Mako in play. Which would be quite sick. Our opponent's in an attacking mood. I see. Good for them. I almost want a Thundering Falls. Is that crazy? I have literally infinite mana. I think I meant to Surveil. Alright, that's a good one. That's also a good one. That's, well, you know. I wish I could get that in the yard. It would be, like, obviously they're losing anyway. It's all kind of immaterial. But if I could get this in the yard, it would be actually hilarious. Actual factual. Yeah, creatures get to double up on VV abilities now. It's true. Very silly. Hiya. Yeah, it's two instances of the ability. You suspect this is lethal. I have a sneaking suspicion. Cats. Wow. Apparently so. I'm inclined to agree, Vivi. No arguments here. Do we ever want to have counterspells in? I feel like the only way I can realistically lose is sweepers, right? Bring in these Disdainfuls. We don't know that these even have any targets. But it feels wise to me. You think we want bounce? Oh, for like rest in peace? Big Skyknight squares. Maybe. I was kind of thinking I can just like torch those before they get big. Or bring in Broadside Barrage for them. What are we even boarding out? Boarding out the unfair stuff seems a bit silly, but they're literally going to be boarding in rest in peace. Maybe don't need Disdainful. I just feel like the literal only way I can lose is sweepers, but maybe I'm wrong. Oh, I'm actually like kind of tempted to play that at some point, Sophia. Don't tell Vivi that. Seems like a fun time. Alright, mulliganing to 5 for the second game in a row. You're literally right here. Yeah, but I didn't address the comment to you, so you didn't hear it. I don't even know how I win this game. This hand is so bad. Wow, fire magic, huh? Fire magic. Not punished for the one-lander, indeed. For which I am relieved. Do I ever just want a 1-for-1 so I can play the Cauldron? Are there cat lords in standard, chat? I can't think of any. Oh, Regal Caracal, but that's 5 mana. Are there any cheap cat lords? Arabo, thank you, chat. It's a good thing we have the cat expert here. I would never have remembered Arabo was in standard. Legally distinct spider ham, incredible. Oh no, where's my fire magic? Fire magic, return to me. Sure. That doesn't seem very synergistic with the card they have in play. I'm gonna be honest. Alright, what do we think the odds are that I can find a Vivi off of Winternight Stories? That'd be pretty good. Oh, we can now make cats. We need to draw Starting Town to make cats. Important detail. Oh, Espen. Thank you for the 62 months of support there, Espen. Good to see you. I think I meant to do this because I'd really like to jam a Profts this turn, or I could just not jam a Profts this turn. I guess that's a possible outcome too. Maybe it's really bad not to discard a Winternight there. Oh wait, it does? I didn't realize that. I'm learning new things every day. I think I used to know that because it came up with Scavenging Ooze beforehand. You'd exile your opponent's Scavenging Ooze and start eating their yard when you were playing against Roots. It does have a lot of words. It's a very word-dense card, it's true. Actually a Yu-Gi-Oh card. So true. Do I just want to keep spinning and just look for this Vivi? Or do I want to Proft to make a huge creature? I guess they've not answered my Scholar yet. I just make it gigantic. And hope they never draw a removal spell in their entire life. A Shelter. Oh, I was thinking like Get Lost. But Sheltered by Ghosts would be much more embarrassing to lose to, yes. And pretty synergistic with Sky Knight Squire, I suppose. Uh-huh. Good news is we have a hasty FOMO next turn. Oh my god. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? You know, hasty FOMO is very relevant on this board. I feel very dead. As I did multi 5 this game, so you know. Make of that what you will. We need a Day of Judgment. I mean, yeah. Oh, yeah, we do. It's true. Me boards out of Vivi. Me spends literally an entire game wanting to draw exclusively a Vivi and nothing else. Tail is orders time. Alright, game 3. Game 3. Ill-timed? Yeah, ill-timed would have been nice there. Mean, I don't think I actually want to board in Flood Maw, but I do think Disdainful Stroke seems pretty bad. Bring back the unfair stuff, I suppose. Oh my goodness. It was ill-timed indeed. What is with our opening hands today? At least this one's pretty good. Although it doesn't have an answer to the 1/1. Please let me find a third land. Please let me find a third land. Thank goodness. I guess if I do this, next time I can just flashback Winternight and cast Soul Cauldron. And that way they don't even see the Vivi in the yard. Yeah, opponent has to crack the cub. They do indeed. Which I am certainly okay with. Nice little aggro draw going on. Alright. We'll take that one. We've beaten the cat's menace. Enduring curiosity with all the tokens. Kind of sweet. Shadowy backstreet. What does that mean? Oh, sacrifice? Maybe it means sacrifice. Do I even want to play this out? I kind of want to discard it, right? Let's say go. That way I can cast my free and still use a torch this turn as well. Or I could just not do that. Yeah, of course. Why not? I almost want to cast this BV, but probably just do this. All right. Take free. Oh boy. Yeah. Pretty good. Maybe I should have held back to block because of this card. I wish my cards did anything this game. I have to like double torch, right? Hardly the dream, but probably where I'm at. Am I allowed to just bounce this? It feels like such a waste. I guess we're not far off of drawing cards of Tersa. Yeah, the cards are definitely underwhelming when you get like the wrong half problem with the deck, for sure. The ceiling on your draws is like comical though. It's very strange. Alright. I could just cycle this Mako and fire off a Flood Maw. But it can go very wrong. I probably just meant to cast Mako and say go. At least we have a nice blocker for the voice. And if they answer the Tersa, the second Tersa becomes suddenly like really good. What does this do? Let me see. Dies or is put into exile? Well, fascinating. The deck seems kind of sick. I've not seen this Aristocrats deck at work before. I know people have been messing around with it. Alright, they're gonna sack and then we're gonna bounce. So now if they want to like do the Vindicate moment move, they'd have to sack the voice, which is not terribly appealing to them. Yeah, it does feel a bit like that kind of. I imagine part of that is just people exploring and figuring things out, but. Hey Tony. Uh-oh. Oh no, they're gonna get so many tokens to sacrifice now. You know, I don't really think I'm capable of winning this game. Abrade. Bolt. Broadside? I don't know. Flood Maw seems truly heinous, as is always the case with Flood Maw. Flood Maw's biggest hater is logged on. Torch and Broadside seem kind of interesting, just to have more answers. Broadside answers Sephiroth, but it's a lot of mana to answer Sephiroth. They bought in Caretakers? Jeez, that's terrifying. I think I do kind of want Broadside. What would it be over? I don't really feel like I'm allowed to trim the unfair stuff is the thing. Could maybe trim a Draconautics, I guess. Isn't Fire Magic decent against them? Maybe. This is my first time playing against this deck. It does seem like a bunch of their creatures have like fairly large toughness though, so. But I guess if you like do it for X equals 2, maybe it can be good sometimes. Yeah, it's possible I was meant to bring in that one. Unclear. Alright, which 2 am I playing this turn? So I'm gonna go 2 into 2+1. So if I go Eidetic Memory this turn, I don't get to attack next turn. And I get 1/2 counters next turn. Whereas if I go FOMO this turn, I do get to attack next turn, but I only get 1 counter. I guess I should prioritize growing my creatures over getting a single combat step. Right? This hand is looking very nice. A little bit of interaction, a lot of pressure. There's a Zealot. Zealot's obviously a little bit spooky, but I really want to develop a board rather than casting a Abrade, I think. I might discard the Winternight, because then we get to flash it back later, which is really nice. And then the counter goes on FOMO because the Mako's gonna grow anyway. Oh, thank you, Nicole. I'm gonna take a look at that list. Wow, Strategic Betrayal. Which I'd rather have. I'd almost rather have the Mako, right? It just grows so large so quickly. Maybe the Tersa can get online next turn, but it's far from guaranteed. Sorry, the FOMO could get online next turn, but it's far from guaranteed. Oh, they play Vengeful Blood Witch? Fascinating. Yeah, maybe Fire Magic's alright against them. Oh my gosh, Vivi. What are we discarding to this Tersa? I guess I just discard 2 just to push maximum damage here, and we just have to hope we draw reasonably from here on out. That certainly counts. That certainly counts. Heck yeah, let's go. Yeah, maybe I want these Fire Magics in. Based on the list I'm looking at. Maybe Broadside's bad. Yeah, Fire Magic on the draw. I could see that. Need to take like a more defensive role. Yeah. When we're on the draw. Can't have like quite as sick a curve out as we had in that game. Well, obviously we only have 1 color of mana, but Mako into FOMO is like basically Splinter Twin in this deck. They mod 6. I'm just gonna hope that we don't live in the world where I need to torch that on 1, because I'd really like to get something nice going on here. I'll see you, Sophia. Hope it goes well. Wow, they missed a land drop. That's insane. Okay, that's pretty good news. Am I torching any of these? Torching the voice would cost me the eidetic memory, which would be quite sad. Could torch the sage. Of course, torching voice means I get to start attacking. That's pretty nice. At least with the FOMO. Gorehound's really good. I feel like Gorehound's the thing I'm least scared of. Is it just the Gorehound that helps them? Alright, I'm just gonna trust y'all. Cast my stupid spell. Rare moment of rainy trusting chat. I just felt like with the voice of victory gone, I'd get to start attacking, which seemed pretty important to me, but... But the Maker's gonna grow so large, and we're about to lose our yard for FOMO purposes. Obviously, FOMO stops them attacking. I think I sack FOMO. The Mako's just gonna grow so big. I don't know. Feels like it works out in the long run, right? And it's not like they get a reward from these tokens at the moment. Mainly later on that happens. Alright, I'd really want to get a Vigilant creature in play, because it makes his Voice of Victory much easier to, like, swing into. So, I believe we're just going to Scholar, and I guess if I play a land first, I have the option of torching post-Scholar. A little bit sad, but it's fine. I mean, it gets 2 counters on my Mako. It could be a lot worse, right? Now we get to grow this Scholar, and that means we get to hit them with the Mako. Start actually pressuring. Pretty nice, pretty nice. Sephiroth. Oh, now I'm not allowed to block, right? Because if I do, Sephiroth flips. That's kind of horrifying. I told y'all we just needed to answer the Voice of Victory. Why did we get rid of the stupid Gorehound? What does the Gorehound even do? Like... Yeah, 4th time? Yeah. Well, yes, blocking is... Well, I can block a 1/1. This game now feels very hard to win. Like every turn they get minimum 3 triggers. They only need 1 thing to flip Sephiroth. I guess that means I have to try and kill them. Tersa feels like pretty obligatory then, right? If I'm Tersaing, that means I FOMO first, I think. Obviously, they just get the chump block, but... I guess we want to have a blocker back that's big enough to trade with Sephi, but we have the Steamcore for that. Sorry, to eat Sephi. I want to attack for as much as possible this turn. Feels pretty important. Hey, look, a Snarling Gorehound. We better get our Torch the Tower ready. It's the scariest card in Standard. I'm sorry, I'm being very rude right now. But also... The streamer chat slot is real. I'm mostly just joking around. I don't really care that much. Wait, free seam rips? Wow. Yeah, that's crazy. They sacked one Gorehound. It's half as bad for us now. Indeed, indeed. Well, pretty convincing one.